conversation is a real skill.
Yeah,
You have to sit
absolutely.
in front of me and actually and have a conversation. And that's the skill maybe that's being lost a little.
I think let's pin down what we think that skill is. For me, it's how you build on someone else's point. So there's in WhatsApp, you're waiting for your turn to talk, right? Or what does that look like? It's an asynchronous communication. There's a pause.
Yeah.
But if you're giving me a point and I have a chance to respond to it, a real beautiful art in conversation is being inspired by the other person's point, taking it and then responding to that instead of it just being, I'm waiting for my turn to talk. But that takes some training. And unless I sat in a brilliant group of creative people aging between probably mid-30s to late 60s, a week or so ago, they were planning a festival, planning an event. And watching people respond creatively to the brief, to the theme of the event, how it went round the room. The next person that put their hand up was always like, I love that idea because it inspires this. Not, here was my preconceived idea that I just want to say now anyway. It allowed for the group, by building on each other, to come up with like a really good pool of thoughts that they could then whittle down. Yeah. So they did then whittle down, and that was the second part of it. But the idea of creating this space for thoughts to be built on is something that we don't, to the best of my knowledge, actually train, but it's really useful.
We don't train it. For me, the training was our pond. I'll go back to our pond stuff. Like we were having chats, right? And I think nowadays, even on podcasts, I do lots of podcasts, and most people, and I know I sent them to you, but most people want a structure. Lewis, can you send me the questions you're going to ask me, or what's the structure? Yeah. Right. What you've noticed now, and people won't realize this, but I mean, we just flowed.
Yeah, we haven't looked at the
we flowed, and we've gone, and it's worked really well. But because we're kind of used to having these conversations. Yeah. At school, I don't know, you're not really taught it. Yeah. My kids at school, they stand up and they'll do a thing, but again, very quickly, like my older kid's asking for a phone already. Right. Maybe she'll get one next year or whatever. Secondary school you start. Yeah. And then suddenly, she's in that world of like texting, WhatsApping, Snapchatting and stuff like that, right? Because the other thing is everyone blames social media. It's not social media. It's humans and how we use social media, right? It's not actually the technology, right? Because it's social media. So it's the platforms of the platforms.
I completely disagree.
Oh, we'll talk about that. It's why the growth of conversation.
I just can't blame the human though.
The human's the problem. Like look at I'm going to call it Twitter, but it's really X.
Yeah, sure.
But that has always been a bit of a cesspit because you can be anonymous. Yep. And you can just be hateful for whatever reason, right? Fine. And Elon Musk's view is, he's for freedom of speech. Like there's different things to that, but I think again it's the human, not the platform. Whereas you look at, say, LinkedIn, for example. We were talking a bit about LinkedIn, weren't we? And people branding and stuff like that. The thing with LinkedIn, which I like, by and large, the profiles are genuine. Yeah, it's a work profile. It's about your career and how you earn money and stuff. And most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, the comments that people share on there are thoughtful, well considered, and just like on point by and large. And so I think again, it's a human and how you decide to use these different things.
Well, so there is a choice of the individual, but to the extent that you've got multi-billion-dollar tech companies with labs of very intelligent people who understand human behavior really well and know how to reward that dopamine circuit, social media is stronger than you or I. Like we spend, I think 25% of under 17-year-olds, this is a recent fact, but spend more than 4 hours a day on TikTok. It's so addictive because every new video is another hit. And we know this, but it's been developed by so many geniuses. How is a human, a 16-year-old kid, a 9-year-old daughter, ever going to compete against that? They don't have the tools to be able to resist or to understand what's happening in the background and that they're the product and it's their attention that is, what's being sold.
Attention is currency.
Yes.
That's what you want. You want eyes on you. Like successful social media strategy is to get people looking at your stuff, engaging with your content, wanting more, and I agree with that, all of that stuff, right? But I still think you can, it's down to you as an individual, and maybe it's difficult. I do take that point, but how you manage and organize your life, or you get help. And, we talked about all of these things. It's it's having this integrated life. Now,
humans need connectivity, and that's the perfect platform for that. It is nowadays. It's like the point that you made before, like going to the bar, no one knows how to make the conversation. Yeah. Everything's online now. And that is the best kind of like hotspot. And that's what I think I agree with Lewis, is how you use it. Yes, of course, like if you think about it in a company's perspective, they're trying to be competitive, like use my platform more. But at the end of the day, we have that control of what that looks like. Like, if you are a sensible adult, that means like how I'm going to navigate, who am I speaking to? You find your niche, you find your community, you find, it's like you can do so much with it. You have to see the positive side of it.
Absolutely.
And if you are a kid, like, you do need some kind of guidance on how to use it in the correct way.
Yeah.
But that comes with, knowledge, guidance, and someone's going to navigate you. It's always going to be there.
I always also find it funny. The schools are so caught up in like handwriting classes. I mean, I don't use it.
That's a good skill.
It is a good skill, but like I don't use a pen. I'm like that's a whole different conversation.
I mean, it is and it isn't. So the thing is, the ubiquity, like a digital screen is pretty ubiquitous, right?
It's like all the content. I've got a phone in mine.
All the content comes delivered via the same screen, which to me makes it harder to remember. It's been shown that we remember things better that we read on paper than we do on screen.
Yeah.
It's also been shown that we remember things that we handwrite better than things that we type. And that's to remember, you're like, at the end of the day, we are still human.
Yeah.
And technology has moved much faster than certainly we have. We've barely moved at all. And I completely agree on the value of human connectivity. I'm not sure. We certainly don't get all of the connectivity we need through social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we need the one-to-one human connection.
Yeah. But also, I think just like taking a look at like careers and stuff like that, I think the most important skill to develop is human skills. That's going to get you to where you want to get to.
Absolutely.
The thing that's going to get you that promotion, secure that new job, or whatever, is your ability to connect and communicate and have a conversation.
And get on with people.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you got all the tech stuff, and you can, and we're spending 4 hours a day on TikTok, whatever, like hours and hours. But I think don't forget, for people listening, to hone your communication, hone your conversation, your empathy.
I was a late diagnosis Asperger's as an adult. Communication was always something I struggled with as a kid. It's taken a lot of time and essentially sort of like training to be able to understand how to read people, how to have better communication and to respond. And it's something I still find like is a real challenge, but it's such a pleasure when it's going well.
Yeah.
Because that's who you're around. And ultimately, like if the people around you are happier, you're probably going to be a bit happier yourself.
Absolutely.
But it's great that those conversations are more predominant, are much more common than they used to be. And we call them soft skills, but really they're just skills. They're just like the idea that it's hard skills and soft skills. It's like, well, actually, increasingly AI will take away a bunch of the hard skills that you might have been missing. Spreadsheets done, right? I mean, it helps to do it. It helps to know it, so you can see if something's wrong. You can error check. You can whatever else. But just getting on with people is so important, and that's why things like team sports, just team activities are really important.
It's always, and also like when I'm doing recruiting and I call up the client and the candidate, I'm like always ask the same question, like how do you feel it went? How did it go? Often open question.
Yeah.
And actually the response is I feel like it went well, and I'm like, well, what do you mean? And it's always the connection that someone's felt with someone. Right? Like it's like this, I feel like I really got on with them well. And the minute you feel like you're getting on with someone, suddenly the whole thing,
you just even you're going to interpret someone's answers based on the fact that you like them.
Yeah.
You'll forgive the not so good answers and be like, you can, and you know what? As people often say, like the one thing you can't train for is attitude.
Yes.
I don't believe that. I think you can. Because you can change someone's states of motivation.
Yeah.
You can have transformative events, but it is that attitude, the thing that people really connect with. You can teach those skills, but it's the attitude is not something that you maybe want to take the time to teach when you're bringing someone in. That's the thing that you hope someone's keen to learn.